So just want to see bright tries to calm me down. I just want to cover in the midst of it all.
Hello, Dr. Tawanna Worlds by birth, also known as a disruptor. Did you know that millions who grow up in poverty also die in poverty? Have you ever heard the saying, what good can come out of the hood? Well, I'm here to disrupt for just a minute. Yes, I was that little girl that grew up in the hood, grew up in the ghetto, single mother, absent father, eating out of the trash can just to survive. But I was also that girl that determined way back then that I was not going to become a product of my past. And now I help others do the same thing. I'm not a victim, I'm a victor. I help men and women from similar backgrounds find value in their own vote and create wealth from within.
What's going on, family? What is going on? Let me tag a couple people because I got something to say. Let me tag a couple of people because I got something to say. I told y'all earlier if I came back, it was going to be on some rant type activity, okay? So I'm coming to vent. I'm coming real quick to just air out my grievances and to share some wisdom, okay? When I tell you that sometimes in life, we may be thinking that, we're going one way or we're supposed to do a specific thing. And I'll tell you exactly what I'm talking about in just a moment. Moral of my story is we make plans, but God has the final say. We may be thinking that we're doing something, going somewhere, a different direction. And God is really trying to reroute us, right? Put us on the right path. And it does not matter who we are, what status we hold, what title we hold, when God makes plans, we will fulfill his plans, or we will face chastisement, we will face repercussions until you see what God wants you to see. And you may be wondering, what in the world is you talking about? This is going to be a teachable moment for everybody. And because I am so transparent, I'm just going to allow you to know how this applies to my life right now. And this is a vent, but no, I'm not screaming and yelling and going in on nobody, calling names. I'm not doing that. I want to leave something on your mind, whether you're driving to work, whether you get ready to lay it down, or you on your lunch break. I want to put something on your mind. And then I'm going to hop off your timeline. I'm not going to be here long at all, but I want to say this. I came all the way out here to California on a rescue mission, what I thought was a rescue mission. Okay. I uprooted my family, came down here to save somebody from a very life-threatening situation. I'm thinking I'm just on that one assignment. I'm going to get in, I'm going to get out. And when I tell you, I have been overwhelmed. I am so overwhelmed by what I see happening. It's terrifying to see it happening. It's one thing to sit in your paneled walls and your beautiful homes and, sit behind your desk and your keyboard and, you're not really out here actively in these streets seeing what is happening on the ground. And by me coming here thinking that I'm on a rescue assignment, it's a rescue assignment, but it's not the one I had in mind. And it is overwhelming. It's I have a bunch of emotions. I really do. And I know this is not just happening in California. I know that this is happening everywhere. If I don't know nothing else, I know this is happening everywhere. And the reaction to what I'm seeing happening is just appalling. Like, I can't wrap my mind around it. I can't even go lay down comfortably knowing that first and foremost it's cold. Secondly, it is an overwhelmingly amount of people, white, black, Hispanic, that is out here on the streets, sitting in the fast food restaurant lines, hoping somebody would just have some compassion to stop and say, hey, do you want something to eat? Hey, are you cold? Can I take off my clothes and give them to you because I got some more to go home to? I'm really trying to wrap my mind around. And like I said, I'm in California, and don't think that it's not in Texas. I just haven't seen it in Texas the way that it is out here in California. I'm absolutely sure that it's in Texas. I'm absolutely sure it's everywhere you go, or 90% of everywhere you go, because some counties and places don't play that. They're not gonna have people sleeping on benches and sleeping on the sidewalks, y'all. When I tell y'all I am overwhelmed, your girl is strong, but your girl is overwhelmed out here. And it's not a bad overwhelming, it's a good overwhelming. Because it has made me realize just how spoiled we are, just how selfish we are, how much we complain, how much we're always seeking after me, my foe, and no mo. You know, it's just me, myself, and I. What I gotta do for me, what I gotta do for me, what I gotta do for me. This is one of the greatest wake up calls I have encountered in my life. Because God has been really, really, really good to me. No cap. God has been real good to me. And almost to the point of spoiled, you know? And he had to bring me all the way back to where I prayed and I cried, even though I thought I was in poverty and, you know, had to eat out of the trash can here and there to have a meal. It does not even compare to what you see out here on these streets. I mean, this don't discriminate. Whether you an old person, whether you a young person, whether you a teenager, it just does not discriminate. And the lack of response to people. How can you go in your home and lay down comfortably knowing that somebody is laying on the streets? That's the gag for me. You got animals that urinate on the street. You got human beings that urinate on the street. When people need to clear their throat or clear their nose, they cough and spit loogies on the street. When people are injured, they bleed out on the street. That is the most unsanitary, thing that that you could ever imagine. And we're so comfortable and closed off that we don't even care anymore. It's like we don't care what has happened to compassion. I looked in my notifications. It says, congratulations, your reel has reached 2,000 people. I'm like, I didn't even share a reel, but I guess it's the video that I shared earlier that they turned into a reel has been shared or viewed 2,000 times. Yet 4 people responded to an elderly woman being in the cold with her children who got small babies with all of their possessions stored under a parking garage. And they sitting on whatever is left in the freezing cold. I got out there and tried to stand in the cold with them for 30 minutes when I was on live earlier. And when I tell you it took every bit of 20 to 30 minutes for my hands to unthaw, I felt so guilty and so convicted that I was able to come and warm my hands and they were not. We let them get in the vehicle and let them, warm up as much as they could for the time that I could. But if it took me that long of time to unthaw my fingers, just think about your whole entire body. I'm like, if 2,000 people viewed the video and every person gave $1, we have this mentality, oh, I don't have enough right now. I got bills, I got Christmas, I got the holidays. I'm working overtime. I'm trying to get some extra money. We're looking at how we can improve our livelihood, how we can, help just us and our family. And we fail to recognize and to realize that we are all one big family and we all have one Father, and that is God. Doesn't matter if we as human beings believe or not. How could there be this many restaurants around and you got people sitting on the curb and people sitting in the cold and people hungry? How can you have this many restaurants? Think about it, on the corners. But you got thousands of people who did not eat and will not eat. And they comfortable going into work, clocking into work. They comfortable going through the drive-through, bypassing them by. They're comfortable telling them to get a job. Hey, if I got to work for mine, you got to work for yours. What if they can't work? For those who have the ability to do so, God gave us the strength. God gave us the talent. God gave us the job, the employment, the resource, the source of income. God gave that to us. Not just for us, but so that we have what we need and more to share. And more to share. Why is it all these apartment complexes and hotels and Airbnbs and houses, RVs, and you got this many homeless people on the street, sleeping on the street? So in the beginning, when I said that man makes plans and God has the final say, I'm thinking I'm coming down here for one thing, but the high beams, not just the regular lights, the high beams is being shone and exposing what really burdens and troubles God's heart the greatest. These people is crying out to God for help, for resources. And think about, out of 1,000 people, maybe 10 might stop and say, hey, You need $1. Here's $5. Here's $10. Out of 1,000 people, 2,000 people saw that cry for help. I can't believe 2,000 people viewed the video and wouldn't even respond for the kids' sake. When everybody is just a paycheck away from poverty, a paycheck away from being put out, a paycheck away from bankruptcy, a paycheck away from foreclosure, a paycheck away from homelessness, a paycheck away from hunger. Ain't nothing safe. It ain't nobody safe at all. How do we have this many churches and this many homeless people and this many struggling people? And it ain't just the Christianity church. What about the mosque? What about the temples? What about the synagogues? What has happened to we as human beings? To hell with what has happened to America. We clearly see what's going on with America. But what has happened to people when it is okay to allow people to sleep on the ground and all you can think about is you and yours and what you got to do and how much you got to pay and your bills and how you got to get up and work? What is wrong with humanity where you can watch a video, 2,000 views on a video, and not nothing before people say, hey, all I got is $10. Hey, this is all I got is $8, $5. Hey, here's $100. This is all I have. What has happened to humanity? I'm going to start exposing a lot of stuff from here on out. I'm going to expose people. I've gotten away from it because it's just like I've been in my own zone, building, preserving a place for God's people. For when everything that we see happening comes into full-fledged. Been doing it for 5 years, but my eyes is wide open. It's like, God, I hear your heart. And no man and no woman, no boy, no girl, should nobody have to sleep on the streets. What has happened to us? This is a big issue because it's happening to more and more and more people, and more and more and more people are becoming desensitized to it. It doesn't bother them. It doesn't bother them to see people sleeping in the bushes, bro, pushing basket carts. It don't bother them seeing people sit on the ground. What has happened to humanity? Because whether we believe in God or not, we gonna give an account about this. And the way that they pushing people out of their jobs, it was in talks that barbershops are going out by the boatloads. They having to pay hundreds of dollars to rent out booths and rental spaces. And now they are being pushed out and they like, we don't know what to do. We went to school for this. This is the craft and the skill that we've used for the last 5, 10, 15 years to provide a service in the community, do what we love and provide, you know, a living for our families. Now they don't know what to do. Just think about all the people losing their jobs. Think about the lawyers. You don't need no lawyer no more. I mean, yeah, in a sense you do. Okay, I'll take that back. I'm going to say you don't need an attorney for legal advice. That's what I'm going to say. You don't need an attorney for legal advice. You can go to the robot called ChatGPT and Claude. You don't need a lot of the jobs that we think that we're going to be around to fulfill is being replaced. Construction workers with robots. Fast food workers with robots. You go into, self-checkouts and stuff like this. Artists is being driven out, pushed out. You got AI artists now. Web developers, they getting pushed out. You can build a website in 5 minutes with AI, artificial intelligence. Consultants, all kinds of real estate. Now that's digital. Now you buying digital. They releasing and unveiling digital real estate. Do you know how many people is out of a job? Because you're homeless does not mean that you mismanage something. Because you're homeless does not mean that you're lazy. Because you're homeless, that does not mean that you're, incapable or inadequate, or you just a charity case. It means you fell on hard times, however you fell on them, and you need help. And to be that low when you need help and people ignore you is so bad. And then the first thing they post with headlines is, "I'm so sorry. Watch the signs. Y'all reach out to your loved ones." People be crying out for help before they ever harm themselves. Who wouldn't be afraid and terrified? I saw a woman. I was just like, this elderly lady is somebody's mama. She had her kids with her. Somebody's grandmama. She had her grandbabies with her. And I can never imagine. And that ain't coming from no haughty place. I don't care if I would have to stand on a corner and sell socks or roses or pecans or oranges. I don't care. I think about my mom. I think about my babies. I remember one time we were homeless on accident. We relocated back to California from Alabama after my first son passed away. Before we even left Alabama, we had everything locked in. The place that we moved from California, because I had a great relationship with everybody that I rented from, kept a house immaculate with that many children, because I always desired to be a homeowner, and I wanted to help people in the rental space capacity, and I never wanted anybody to tear up my stuff. I'm a very firm believer, what you sow is what you reap. I don't care if they didn't give me my deposit back. Your place is clean, spick and span. All you got to do is come in here and touch up some walls or something like that, and you're ready to move somebody in here. I always took care of the places. So when we were coming back, I'm like, hey, my baby died and I want to come back there and be closer to my other family. She's like, no problem, girl. Come on back. So since she knew what we had went through, she goes to the house. She's cleaning everything, making sure she's, getting it immaculate for our return. We make it all the way out here. U-Haul, 2 days to get back here. We come here the day that we pull up. Just all hell broke loose. Because prior to us coming, her and her husband had came over to the unit the day before. And she's like one of those DF wires, do it yourself. And so, you know how you can remove hard water spots off of the faucets. She put some type of chemical she saw online on the faucet, and then it told her you have to bag the faucet and let it sit over there overnight. And so she did that. So the day that we arrived, and she was supposed to come and meet us, she arrived to the unit ahead of time. The day prior, she bagged all of the handles to clean them, to give them that new look, and forgot to turn the water off. So the water bagged up into the walls because she shut off one valve and then shut off the other valves. The water was all in the walls, and then went on over to the next unit, the whole 9 yards, right? She had to have somebody come out. She's like, don't worry. I'm so sorry. Could you just get a hotel? I'll have somebody come out. They're going to come out and assess the damage, and I'll have the damage fixed today. But when they came out, they was like, nah, this unit tested positive for asbestos. These old walls, that water hit it. Yeah, we're gonna have to get the asbestos out. This could kill them. I already got OCD because my baby just died. So they talking about asbestos. I'm like, oh no, 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 no. We gonna wait on that till y'all get this fixed. How long is the process? It was like, oh, it's a process because we come in, we test it, we have to tear out all the walls wherever the asbestos is. It don't just have to be in this area. This is where it showed up because this is where the damage happened to the walls and the water busted in the pipes. But we have to test this whole place. That may take some time. And then we have to tear the walls, rebuild the walls. I'm like, wow. Instantly, in a moment, we became homeless. We had all of our life belongings on a truck, sitting in front of an apartment complex that we were supposed to be moving into, and we could not move into there because of that accident, because that's what it was, an accident. I think after 3 weeks and just trying to live in a hotel, we was just like, look, we got to look for somewhere else, unfortunately. Could you send us our deposit back? We have to find a place. And that is the only way. It took us 30 days to find a place. I never forget, I came online and prayed and declared, today is the day we gonna find a place, God. And that day at 3 o'clock, we found us a place. But we were homeless for 30 days. Not because we didn't pay our bills, not because we were lazy, none of that. This woman's husband died and she was the one who found him. Imagine that. The only thing that she has left from her and her husband is her pets and her child. They're back all the way from like Kansas. Husband brought his family out of Kansas to provide for them, and he was. And now he's no longer here. Imagine being a wife for 20 something years, and now the person who vowed to take care of you is gone. And you can't figure life out. I watched her call the shelter. The shelters is full. They don't take whole families together. The mother and the kids can come to the shelter. But it's on a first come, first serve basis. So if the shelters are overpacked to capacity, then you don't have no other option but to sleep outside, which is horrible, which is really horrible. I'm exhausted, but I still can't. I just can't wrap my mind around this. And like I said, when I came out here, I'm thinking it's for one thing, it's totally for this. And I'm about to expose people's hearts. Not for clout, because I can care less about clout. Clout got people out here doing some of the dumbest, most insane things that I could even wrap my mind around. But this exposure is going to be for awareness. How dare we ride by as if we are better than the person standing on the corner asking for $1 or sitting in the fast food restaurant driveway? How is this even happening in America? We're the richest nation on earth. And you got this amount of poverty. And like I said, it's not just in California, it's in your city. You just choose to drive past it every day. And that has to stop because ain't none of us above the rim. None of us when I saw the financial status chart that shows if you make this a month, then this is the bracket or category you in. I'm like, bruh, we don't even. I thought I was doing something. I'm not doing anything. Nothing in comparison to what they say the status is. And I'm going to share that. We're all just one paycheck. We're all just one paycheck away from poverty. We're all just one paycheck away from homelessness. We're all just one paycheck away from hunger. Food too dang on expensive. You can't afford it anymore. That's the main reason why we ought to be compassionate when we have a little more. Why? Because when you don't have enough, you're going to need some help too. And you're going to want somebody to come through for you. Because there's a time and a season for everything, especially for the ones say, yeah, I ain't going to never go through that because I'm working it. You don't know what your life holds. You just don't know. How a blink of an eye, your life can be turned upside down. And then you find yourself eating those words. That you didn't need nobody. And that you was good and that wasn't going to be you. Telling you it can happen unintentionally. It can happen accidentally. And the way that this country and the economy is going, we're all just one. Just one, not even a whole paycheck. Away from being without. That's my vent. How is all of these people around? And I'm on a newfound journey. I'm on a newfound journey. Or shall I say I'm back to the basics, because this is where and why our nonprofit organization was started to begin with. And it was all about soul patrol and foot patrol, hitting the streets. It amazes me that a lot of evil people, evil, selfish people, I asked God, I said, why would you give people resources that's going to look down on people or look past people when they're in need? You give it to them. But the people who would literally go and pick up people off the streets, if it's too hot, you can dress down. But if it's cold, you can't do nothing but dress more. And that's to stay warm in your car, in your home, in your workplace. What about living outside, y'all? I'm greatly disturbed. By the grace of God, 4 people came through and got them a room for one day. But even that is crazy. You can't check in till after 3 or 4 p.m. And you have to be out by 11, 12 the next day. And then try to figure out, well, what's going to happen the next day. Where I'm going to go then. I got a family. It's terrible. It is really terrible. And you know what? I'm not going to ask you guys. I asked earlier, and that was heartbreaking. I had to tell my father on a lot of people that follow me, a lot of people that I have served. I have served a lot of people. I have given to a lot of people. Especially people that come to me and be like, hey, Dr. T, I really like to do this. I don't know how to do this. I just let you into, hey, here, take this. Utilize this. Get started with this. I have more than enough fruit on these social media pages. People say, hey, because of this woman, free game, the information that she gave me, I'm now making, passive residual royalties every month because of this woman's knowledge, because of her help, because of her ability to care. A lot of people be like, oh, you real? Like, you answer your own phones. Wow. Like, man, I'm a regular human being just like you. I'm not higher than you. I'm not better than you. I want to smell like the sheep. I don't want to sit in my paneled walls in my house and I'm shut off to what's going on outside the door. So I thank God for this experience because he had to bring me down to see this. I remember as a kid growing up, walking through the streets. And my mama didn't know where we was gonna lay at, yo. Some of the places that we did lay at, I was violated. I remember asking my mom, is we gonna eat today? We got something to eat. We hungry. I remember that, and I believe that's why it troubles me so bad. Because nobody should have to deal with that. My mother was a single mother trying to do what she could do, just keep a roof over our head. But when she couldn't keep the roof over our head, we were homeless, couch surfing. I was touched inappropriately over 50 times as a child, just going from house to house. It's terrible. But I never had to sleep on the ground. It's one thing I give God all the praise because I never had to sleep on the ground. The only thing I've ever that only came nearest is when I was in foster care and they took us camping. And we laid in tents. Other than that, bro, I ain't no way. I think that's the lowest of the lowest. I think that's the breaking point when you gotta go and lay on the ground and people be like, why these people don't care about themselves? You go into restaurant bathrooms and you see them in there washing up, washing their private parts, just trying to, man, it's a lot. And I'm gonna start doing something to help them. Let me get back to the basics. I'm gonna expose the people who pass by. What? You mean to tell me you on your way to work, you on your way to the house, you saw that status and you just kept on going and got the audacity to be asking God to help you when it's in your ability to help his creation? How could God give you more and you can't pour? How could God give you more and you can't pour to fill somebody else up? If the world thought this way, say, hey, you know what, my bills are paid for today. I do got something to eat in my refrigerator, something that I can cook. I got a roof over my head. I ain't gotta pay no rent for today or no hotel fee for today. I got clothes, I got warmth in this cold. If I got $25 in my purse, let me go find somebody who don't have what I have today. May not be much, but I got what I need for today. And this $25 is extra. Not, I'm going to say this $25 because you know what? Tomorrow, I might want to stop by Yum Yums or, Friday, I got a hair appointment, a nail appointment. We got to do better than this. And I'm really sicking at the religious folks. All of them. Because whatever Bible, book, Quran, Tanakh, whatever you read, I know in them books, it tell you to do charitable works and to help your neighbor, help your fellow men. I know that for sure. My rant's up. I just wanted to put that on your mind. I can only imagine when we stand before God, because we all gonna stand. Every tongue will confess, and every knee will bow, whether they like that or not. We're gonna have to give an account about why, when I was hungry, did you not feed me? Why, when I was thirsty, did you not give me nothing to drink? Why, when I was naked, did you not clothe me? Why, when I was sick, did you not visit me? Why, when I was in prison, did you not visit me? Well, oh my gosh, Lord, when did we ever see you hungry, naked, in prison, in jail, thirsty? Whenever you seen the least of these without it, that's when you seen me. And you did not give me. You turned your eye. You kept driving. You looked the other way. Do you know people will go to hell for not helping people? That's not something I said. And that's Matthew 25, babe. I know it front and back, up and down. It said, to those who did not help him. And they said, when did we see you hungry or naked or thirsty? And we did not feed you, master. We did not clothe you. He said, when you did not do it unto the least of them, you did not do it unto me. Depart from me and go into everlasting torment. But the ones who did, he said, welcome in. Here's a place that I have reserved. When you can look out for others, whether you think they worth looking out for, you distribute the characteristics of your Savior, the characteristics of your Father. Because Christ paid a ransom in advance off of faith that everybody would believe in him and everybody would receive him and everybody would demonstrate him in his absence. You think if Christ was walking the streets, and I'm a believer. So when I say or, because there's other people of other faith that watch me, or Muhammad, or Krishna, or whoever you worship, if they was walking the street and seeing homeless people, what would your deity do? Because I know more than going into religious institutions. My Savior, the one and only, found himself hanging with or reaching out to. I'm not going to say hanging with, but he was in the vicinity of the prostitutes. He was in the vicinity of the sick people, of the poor people, of the possessed people, of the outcasted people, of the people that people pass by. Blind Bartimaeus, the man by the pool Bethsaida, the woman caught in adultery, the woman at the well. I mean, just on and on. At the tax collector's house, he sat with those and healed those and comforted those who the world just overlooked. And we think going to church and praising God and knowing scripture is being religious and deep. No, pure, undefiled religion is when you help your neighbor, when you give to the poor people. Why is there, he said, the poor you will always have amongst you. That's why you need to take care of them. And we don't. We always think about how much more we can get, and that's why we ain't got enough. We're always thinking about how much more we need, and that's why we ain't got enough. How much more we can get, what we can get. Ooh, how much did that? I would love to go there. Ain't thought about nobody. My rent is up. I ain't gonna ask y'all for a dime. I'm not gonna ask y'all to care. I just wanted to leave that on your mind. And I continuously pray that God will send resources for this woman and her family. I'm a married woman. I could never imagine. I don't even want to act like, oh, I can only imagine. No, I don't even want to imagine that. I don't even want to imagine losing my spouse and then losing everything. And most people don't know, when you lose somebody, it's not just a loss of a physical person. It's a loss of resources. It's a loss of wanting to get up and do something. It's just a loss all the way around. It's a loss of, I'm trying to struggle through this grief, and this grief is kicking my butt. I don't know what to do. I'm angry. Oh, maybe I shouldn't be angry. I'm in denial. Maybe this ain't real. I mean, it's more. It comes with PTSD. Am I gonna lose somebody else? I mean, it comes with a lot. So to lose your spouse, then have to try to figure it out. Lose your place, lose your sense of protection, lose your peace, your privacy. Everything is just out in the open. You're just homeless. Don't know how this happened. Looking for help and people keep passing you by. I know a lot of people won't care, but I do. And that's why I recorded this video. I'm going to go ahead and let y'all go. I just wanted to say that. Mentally, I'm exhausted. Spiritually, I am overwhelmed. Physically, I'm tired. I'm sleepy. I'm drained. That's probably why I feel tired and sleepy. But there's no way in the world. My mind has been vexed this entire time with these situations. This is just one that God wanted me to pay urgent attention to. And I thought that I can come to my cousins here. And that is my apologies for coming and ask you for something that you don't have a heart to give. That was my apologies. All right, y'all. Y'all have a great day. I just wanted to put that in your mind. Everybody just 1 minute, $1, one $300, one lose my job, one paycheck away from being without. And every time you see an opportunity to invest in something like that, don't pass it by, because you never know when it's your turn. One thing you ain't gonna want is somebody to pass you by, somebody to act like you are invincible and you don't care. Because that's the lowest of the lowest. And when you start feeling like that, that's where hopelessness comes in. And then after hopelessness, despair. And then after despair, yeah, the devil got you. They start lacking the 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 will to want to live, the will to want to go another day, you know? So yeah, I'm gonna leave that on your mind. I'm gonna let y'all go. Regardless of the fact I love you. And if you ever got in a situation where you needed my help, then you can definitely get it. And I'll take note about those who do help, those who call to duty whenever I say, hey, we got this going on. Can we come together and do this? And not that my note taking is of some type of significance, but I am watching. And if I'm watching and I see you, then I know God sees you even more. For sure. Y'all have a great day, afternoon, evening, whatever time you are watching this. Have a great one on purpose. Peace out.